Hello, Maxi. Welcome, man. How are you? Hello, hello. How was your stream today? I'm happy. Yeah? What happened? What made you happy today? You know already why. Hmm. Do I? Look at announcement on Discord server. Give me a sec. Where's your server? Hmm. Let's go. Road to affiliate. Nice. Good job, good job. Proud. I'm proud of you. Hi, Bunny. Welcome in. CS? I uninstalled CS a few days ago, which reminds me, I do need to download it again. Look the live views compared to last stream. Yeah, I will. I will after stream. Let's talk after stream, okay? Oh, 7 stream streak. Let's go. The fuck? I I uninstalled CS for other games. I wanted space. I needed space for other games. I'm still so happy, dude. Let's go. I'm proud of you, man. 12 viewers. Let's go. I mean, I was there during like the 7 and 8 one, but 12, let's go. And two other friends did it. Let's go. May God bless you with no more cat food to eat, and you have to eat grass. Me? Me? Why? 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 I got the first point for the 3 average views on 4 days. Let's go. Streamer stream, then money. Yay. Let's go. Is the first time I got a point. Nice. Because you delete CS. I wanted space for Forza. Forza Horizon 6. Which I do want to try. I want to try Forza. Anyways, I gotta go. Will be lurking. Thank you for the lurk, Bunny. Really appreciate it. Bro, actually bought it. You made me sad. I got the Xbox Game Pass, man. I didn't buy the whole game. I got the Xbox Game Pass. So, I think Maxi, uh, I'm planning to buy that Xbox too. You can change the categories and stream titles now. PC only or Ultimate? Guess. Guess which one did I buy? I got the Ultimate one. Because I had a good reason for getting the Ultimate. The Ultimate allows you PC only is like 8 euros less. 8 euros? No. Over here it's like $2 less, I think. For me it was $2 less. Game Pass. How much did I pay for this? I don't remember. My subscription. Ultimate history.
Hi Blaze, how are doing?
Hi, Ghost Viking. Welcome in. I'm good. I'm good. How are you? To sign in so I can show you how much was it. Yeah, I know. I get Forza Horizon 6 still. I was crying after stream for almost like 10 minutes. Well, I'm yapping too much. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much for joining, though. I would have joined either way, man. Yeah, 10. Yeah, so I paid this amount, 1285. Fuck. I'm doing wonderful just as a just a funny mod. Yeah, just a funny mod. I paid 1285 for the whole thing, right? So let me change to this. 1285 INR to USD. 36 minutes following and a mod. Interesting. Uh, we were talking in the VC for quite a bit. $13.43 US for Ultimate. Maxi, what's the price at to euro? Okay. Uh, United. What's the thing for euro? EURO. Euro. 11.55. 11.55. How much is it for you? What? Lol. What? How much is it for you? I'll be happy dinner is ready. I get it for 1149. Oh, wait, what? Let's go. But is that like before taxes? Because this is the price after tax. What's the tax rate over there? There is tax on this, right? You also pay tax on the amount. After tax? Okay. Then it's okay. It's a good amount. It's an okay amount. Credit cards and PayPal. I buy gift cards. Okay, I see. It is good. Nope. Hmm. If you decide to applesauce followed you, yeah, I saw. He actually did that. Yeah. Applesauce and JP as well. The JP guy also followed. I think Applesauce is your friend, but JP was a new one, right? JP was a new one today. Mm-hmm. I was kind of worried about the Force something guy. Applesauce is Crystal's friend. Oh, okay. It was Vembu. I see. The Force dude, yeah. I was kind of worried about him because he kept like spamming links basically in the chat. So I was kind of worried about him. And I wanted to make sure you don't open anything by chance. Also, Did you know the Ultimate Xbox Pass has one of the games you were talking about? He even made an appeal saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," and still sent it that link at the end. Oh shit. I mean, you can't do anything about those kind of people. It's okay. Hmm. Where is it? Motor something game. You remember the parkour game we were talking about a few streams back, where you fight like kind of like colossal machineries? It was around here. This one, Motor Slice. I don't remember this. Nah. Okay. Oh, wait. Music was not audible over here. Fuck, I just saw I didn't have music on over here. I actually don't. It's okay, it's okay. Hmm. So, for today, what we can do is we'll do half an hour of Forza, and then we'll shift to Little Nightmares because of NF Rifles with Forza 6. I want to try Forza. I just want to watch what the game is like. I don't want to watch Forza. Why? You're gonna leak my playing time. What do you mean? I'm gonna leak your playing time. How would I leak your playing time? Unpacking, Unravel 2. When you get the Game Pass, I don't want to see actually. I want to keep it new. Hmm. Okay. I understand. When you get the Game Pass, we can play this Unravel 2. The song has turned into the sad ones now. Booming, want some more? I'm buying Xbox after I'm back from Croatia. Let's go. When you gonna be back? Because I'm driving there soon. I see. Driving on your bike or car? Sleeping on the love, if that can take it on the love. Car with family. I see. Hmm. Ultimate Chicken Horse. Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. I feel like these are from, yeah, these are from the same creator. I'm gonna pass my friend my bike, even if he is not old enough to. How old is he? 15? I think you get your driver's license at 16, right? I don't wanna know if you feel me. Yeah, because it's 135 cc. Ah, I see. For like city and stuff, 125 cc is more than enough, man. But if you are going cross country, I think you need at least 300. 250cc equals 18, above 250, 21. I see. By the way, as you can see, when I scroll up, it goes down a bit. I'm not doing that. The scroll down, I'm not doing it. This is just my mouse being ruined completely. Mouse acting up because it's reduced. New mouse? Nah, still the fucked up one. I need to get a new one. I said nice. Oh, nice mouse. You read it wrong, smart dude. Yeah, my bad. I've been playing too much. My vision's getting blurry kinda. That's why I can't see. Hmm. Smart dude. I'm blurry. No. The chats are. Drop shot. Albion. Ano mutation. Mutation. Yes, it is mutation. I was like, am I reading it correctly or am I still not like I was confused for a second. I wonder if they're gonna drop the new Black Flag in Among Us. Yes, it has Among Us. Thing is, I have Among Us on Epic, on Steam, and now on Xbox. I have 3 copies of Among Us on my accounts. And I have 2 more copies on Steam on family accounts. So I have half the Among Us lobby on my accounts. Ah, when you make me Indian account. When do you want to do it? Like send I have waited a month. Mm, ping me tomorrow in the afternoon and literally just don't type meow. Tell me you want the account because I keep forgetting it. Afternoon after 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. because I don't know when I'll sleep today. For you, what time will it be? Afternoon 1 p.m. Message me after that. I should be awake by then, I think. Even if I'm not, I'll text you back. How much is downloaded? By the way, I have increased the bitrate for the stream. So I want to check if it's working properly or not. It is kind of down. It is in the reds. Unstable. Uh, I increased it to 8,000, but I think it's in the red because there's a download going on. So 3 a.m. for you. 1 p.m. for me. 1 p.m. for me. 8,000 is too much. How much should it be? 6K? I was testing it, to be honest. There has not been a frame drop for the whole stream, so I don't think it's like affecting anything. I have it on 8,000, so it like stays constant around 6K. Because when I have it on 6K, it sometimes jump down to 5.5. So I have it quite up. I was thinking of going for 10K before before 8K, to be honest. Do like 7.5 or 7,000. Welcome back, Viking. Welcome back. How was food? When it's less than normal, it's bad. I wish they had like Death Stranding 2 as well. Because I've heard it's way better than Death Stranding 1. And I tried Death Stranding 1. But I kind of got bored after like a few hours. I tried to play the story. It was not it was really slow for me, for my taste. The story was really slow. I want a well-paced story that like like plays like a butter, like a Red Dead 2 kind of story, you know. I want something like that again. I have this wish that I know can't be fulfilled. Well, it was wonderful. Tomorrow. Tomorrow what? Tomorrow what? Okay. What's your wish, sir? I wanna forget my first time playing RDR2, which can't be fulfilled. It was such a fun experience. I wanna forget everything. Like I wanna experience it again, you know? I wanna have that first experience again. Arcs, fat tails. Okay, I'm not even moving my mouse. And it just moves on its own. See? On its own. I'm not even scrolling. Yay. I don't know how to do that. Smack me in the head. Make me forget everything. I think that might help. Okay, who's now ready for Little Nightmares? We have reached quite far yesterday, I think. At least I would like to hope that. Is that Forza? If yes, me go. No, no, no. It's what's it called? Little Nightmares. Ping me again when you play something else. No, no, we're playing Little Nightmares. Well, I'm a lurk. Have fun, sir. Me food. Okay. Have good norms. Take care. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for changing the title. Appreciate it. Wait, where is this? No, this is not the one I was playing. Exit to main menu. Load game. This one. 1 hour, 4 minutes ahead. Ooh. This is where I got jump scared yesterday, right? Because I couldn't find out, like, yeah, there he is. Can I burn him? What do I do? Little Nightmare, so hi. Oh, I just run. What now? No, 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 no. Shit. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Break, you fuck. Come on. No, he got me. How am I supposed to do this? Am I just supposed to like run away? Keep running, keep running, keep running. It's gonna break anytime soon. Come on, just break. That's not it. I'm supposed to do something. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Can I like slip through? Can I maybe like slip through this? No, he got me. Okay. That's not what I'm supposed to do, but okay. No. Shit. Even though I jumped. No, that's not it. How do I do this? Maybe try to move the dumpster. I tried. It doesn't want to move. I can either climb this or I have a feeling I might have to move that. Maybe. Oh shit. See, I might have to move that. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hmm. No, 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 no. It has to be that. What else could it be? You know? No. Yeah, but try when his hands are not near the wood. I did. Shit. Hmm. It still just comes near it. Can I do something else that might be able to break that? Like, I can't jump over there. Oh, did it? Did I do it? I think I did it. Ah, shit. I might be done. Come on, come on, come on. Make it up, make it up. Let's go. I got it. Crushed his hands. Ah, shit. Nice. I can't even jump now. Thank God. Oh, no, 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 no. Not a dark place again. Little lost things sometimes find their way home. The lair is done. Oh, did I complete one level? Did I just complete a level? I think I did. What's this? Oh, never mind. Yes, you did. Hi. Yes, I did. Oh, I'm going somewhere. It's a good thing he doesn't get tired of just hanging around. Oh, there's another one. There's another one up there. Oh, hungry again. We hungry. Give me food. Need food. Give me food. Oh, the rat got caught. There's the food. I think the rat is the food now. We have to eat the rat, man. We can't do anything about it. We are hungry. We need food. Shit. Yeah. Yak. Bhai sahab. Oh my god. He ate the rat, man. Fuck. Let's go. These are all the bodies, I think. Here, the knives. Is it some kind of a butcher or something? It is. It is a butcher. Hi Cole, hi Void, hi Prime. Welcome in. How are you? Okay, he can see. Hi Blaze, hi Blaze, hi Blaze. चलो अभी पीसी ऑन हो गया. यस पीसी ऑन हो गया. भाई साहब, those guys almost killed me, man. I almost died because of those guys. Where is he going? Oh my god, that fucking bitch. Wait, what? I need to remove this. Give me a sec. Thank you, kind sir. Remove, thank you, kind sir. We'll change it right now. How dare. Nightbot. Hi. Yeah, it removed it because you were typing everything in. Chat moderation off. Links on. Excessive symbol off. Block list, word, phrase. चलेगा. It should not do anything now. Hopefully. एक बार चेक करके देखो. Try all capsing everything. Can it see me over there? It was auto? Yeah, auto mode. Night mode did it on its own. Oh damn. There's supposedly a key somewhere. I need to find a key now. ठीक है भाई समझ गए. Where is the key? I need to find the key. Do I see any key somewhere? Because I might just be blind. I don't see anything. I don't think it's on this table, so I think, move on. Oh, that scared me. Oh, it could be up there. Fucking hell, it could be up here. Shit. Don't tell me the key is in here somewhere. Even more up, maybe? Hmm. I mean, this is a route. Wait, what? Did that door open up? Where does this take me? Shit. Oh no, this was the exit. Fuck. I messed up. दोबारा आना पड़ेगा पूरा पूरा घूम के दोबारा आना पड़ेगा. Come on. Oh shit. Fuck. Death number 1. Death number 1 for today. Oh, good job. Checkpoint ले लिया मैंने. I took the checkpoint. Let's go. Let's go. Checkpoint. Checkpoint indeed. Bro, that was such a great checkpoint for me. Otherwise, I would have had to do the whole thing again. Is that a doll? Doll. No, not a doll. Oh, this was the door that was making noise. Let's see what's in there. Oh, there's something sleeping here. And there's the key. Is it gone or is it gonna come back? I can't get up there. I'm always here, but in the shadows. Okay. Thank you for the luck, Viking. Shit. No. Where am I gonna spawn? Okay, it's close by. It is close by. I can do this. But how? Every time there's like any kind of climbing, I think it wakes up. It's the chef, I think. Okay, okay. Didn't check. Okay. I don't know where he's supposed to be, but I'm hoping it's not over here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where is he? Come on, don't make a noise, don't make a noise. Come on, come on, come on. I'm not supposed to go in there, right? Come on, sausage, come on. There is something around here. Don't know where to go though. this? Do I need to climb this? No. Can't climb this. So it has to be that. Is it stuck? Am I supposed to be doing something else, maybe? Hmm. No. I think I was supposed to remove this. But how? How do I remove this? Hmm. Can't pull this or thing. Nothing to do over there. Hmm. No. Restart from checkpoint. Hi, Curiosity. Welcome in. How are you? It's the second day of Little Nightmares for us, and I seem to be stuck on this part, and I don't know what to do. I am literally stuck. Like, I know I'm supposed to get like meat out of this. Is backseating okay? Yes. It's more than okay. For puzzles, I'm happy to be backseated. You can get in the elevator, but how? I tried. Oh. I tried. I tried getting in. Ah. Do I need to throw the meat in now? I got it. I think this is supposed to go there. Though I don't want to stand on it. But what can you do? Can I go from here? There should be a doll or something around there. They won't make this without something. Oh. Hi. Good job. Good jump. Hmm. I'll just go down for now. I think this was only the checkpoint, I think. Let's try going back down. Hopefully I got this. How you been, Curiosity? How's your day been? What you up to? Yay, big piece. That only gave me one more. Just finished finals, so gaming a lot. Let's go. What about you? During the day I was playing with friends. We played a game called Stitchling, I think. Stitchling, yeah. It was a 2-player game. Although it was a 1-player shared co-op. No multiplayer on multiplayer screens. And after that we did some gambling with friends. And now we're playing Little Nightmares after I've had my dinner. I think I'm supposed to go up there. Can I even make this jump? I don't think I can make that jump. Or am I supposed to climb something? I might have to climb something. Poor little gnome. Yeah. Am I supposed to go there? Is that a place I need to go? Or was that it? No? I don't need to go there? Okay. Is a collectible of sort, I think. Oh, I see. Oh, come on, get it. Let's go. I mean, I saw this when I came here earlier. I saw there was a path to go up there. I should have just gone. Should be enough for the swing, I think. 3 of them should be enough, I think, for the swing. Let's see. Yes, it is. Let's go. We did it. Chop, chop, chop.
Hello, human.
Oh my god. That literally fucked me up. That literally scared me, man. What the fuck? I was so scared. Like, where did the voice come from? Don't tell me he's gonna come here. Shit. Come on, take the stuff. New way to scare, but fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. CS2 is ready to play. You think I'm not scared enough already? You found this way now? Oh. Is this so he can't reach me? I just reinstalled CS2. Let's go. Do I need to get like another key from over here? Fuck. No, he's covering me. Oh, the key is right over there. I want to play after when you got time. Yes. When I got time, yes. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. Come on, come on, come on. Open the door, open the door, open the door. Let's go in. Hide, 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 hide. You sure you got time on stream or off stream? I do, I do, I do. Sometimes I do. Don't tell me he can come back. Do I have to bring this over here? Hmm. Hmm. On or off? We'll see. Let's do the other thing tomorrow. By the way, I just made myself a grilled cheese sandwich. Let's go. Good job. Oh. I don't even know what to do here, but okay. This looks like something I might need. And that looks like the only place it can be placed. So let's see. No, that's not it. What do I do with it? Not this way. This way. Up here. You wanna make me a list for the road until I go to Croatia? Sure. When are you free? Like a random playlist? I'm down. He saw me, but I gotta transfer it to Apple Music because my Spotify expired. Oh. There's two of them. Do you want the songs I would listen or do you want English songs only? Because I would add Hindi as well. That's the thing. Come on. I don't really care your taste, your fun. Okay. And if all songs ran out, I rate it. I'm down. Huh. Fucking it. Okay, that's super scary. I don't like this. Come on, open the door for me. Oh, he's not opening the door. That means I'll have to do something again. Okay. It's a conveyor belt. Of which I don't know where the entrance is. Shit. He almost caught me. And he checks. He checks. He bends over and he checks. Can you please go somewhere else, please? Please, I beg. I beg you, please. Please. Come on. Where is the conveyor coming from? So I'll have to go back to the whole that area. Is the conveyor still here? I can't even see it. They see me, they see me, they see me, they see me. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I think this is it. I think this is it. Come on. Yes. Welcome back. I've got the conveyor. They can see me, but I don't think they can catch me.
What do you think about all of that stuff?
Oh shit! Wait. No shit. Oh my god. What do I think about what? About making the music? Yes, I'm down. No, wait. What? I thought I crossed it. No, so close. Oh shit! No! No, I have to time it. Me play CS2, so Millie listen. I'll say in chat when you want something. I go time, okay. Have fun in CS2. Oh, let's go. I made it. And they're throwing plates at me. Oh, good job. I made it. The chefs will miss you. Oh, I completed the second chapter, I think. Actually, that are bottles. Yeah. Earlier they were throwing plates, no? Bro, I think that was the second chapter. Oh. I'm on a ship somewhere.
Drink water. Become.
If I leave my controller right now, my guy is gonna fall off. Give me 1 second. I'll hydrate in a second. Thank you for the hydrate, Viking. Hydrate time. Yes. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Let me reach the window. Let me reach the window. Now I can. Oh my god. That was kinda breathtaking, the chef's one. What kind of people am I gonna find this time? First one was a guy with long hands. Now after that we got chefs. And now we don't know. At least I don't know. Some kind of mechanics. I hope they don't see me. Oh, it could be that one. Or is it gonna be like the whole line and thing? Is it gonna be the noble this time? Might as well just stand there. It is that guy. Oh no, it's not. Oh shit! What? Bro, body slammed the whole table on me. No! Wait, he can catch me? What the fuck? What do I do with this? If I go over there, the bottle's gonna drop either way. Hey, sneaky rat, how do you keep slipping away? Come on, come on, come on, come on, be the sneaky rat, come on. Huh. Oh. Am I supposed to go over there? No, I'm not. You want kilowatt case? What's a kilowatt case? CS2. But I would need oh no man, you have like 4. Yeah, I got the CS2 thingy, you know, the premium one. So if I play regularly, I can get all the cases I want. But I just don't wanna. Oh, but keys cost like €2 to purchase. Yes, yes they do. But you don't need to buy keys. You can just keep the cases and sell them. At least that's what. Yeah, but key equals gamble and gamble equals money. Not always. Oh shit! Oh no 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 no! What? Okay. Fuck. Fuck. He ate me. No. How do I do this? Can he not come here? I don't think he can come here. No, get me up. Hi Bunny, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Hello. Vincenzo, hello, welcome in. Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for the raid, Bunny. How are you? Maxi, did you did it? Thank you for the shout out. Really appreciate it. Hi, Bunny. How was Minecraft? How was Minecraft, man? How was Minecraft? Did you find some cat food? No. She ate everything. She ate everything. I played Minecraft and I played some CS2. Oh, I see. Thank you. Oh, Ghost Viking got it. I see. Thank you, Ghost Viking. Oh, SO. You have to add at the end, so it actually does anything. At Mr. Bunny. Huh. Apparently it doesn't work because of cooldown. Oh, you did it already. Okay. Oh, because of the cooldown. I see. Even I didn't know what the problem was. But yeah, welcome in. We are playing Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition, and it's day 2, and I think I'm on chapter 3. You can't remove cooldown. Can I not? It uses Twitch shoutout. I have no idea. What's this game about? Apparently, you are this little guy and you're trying to escape from all the big people. It is kind of a horror. I got jump scared yesterday twice, I think. And I've died around 50 times now. 50, more than 50. Around 50. Like, hello, neighbor. Hello, neighbor. Kinda, yeah. You have to be kinda sneaky, and there are quite a lot of puzzles in this. I got 2 kilowatt cases in CS2 and got no keys because I forgot they exist. Yeah, wasted money. Wasted the money, man. It's okay. It's okay, Maxi. It's okay. How was Minecraft and CS2, Bunny? How were the games? Hope you won your CS2 games. What did you do in Minecraft? Instead, open some terminals or capsules, or maybe sonar packages. Or both were fun, not gonna lie. I reinstalled CS2 after you were gone. In Minecraft, I was playing in Hypixel's catalog. Oh, but I've only got the 2 cases, nothing else. The one you played and got bored. I don't remember playing in Hypixel, that's the thing. Sell it on community market. But the thing is, how much did he buy it for? That's also one of the things, no? I'm gonna continue this while talking. I think I'm supposed to run like this. Let's go. We are right now trying to... I think we just entered this boat. Ah, shit! I was supposed to run. Fuck. You're pretty fucked. Just add some balance and buy some new keys. Gotta run, gotta run, gotta run. Need to run, need to run, need to run. It's a chef. It's a chef, it's a chef, it's a chef. Need to hide. Wait, he closed the door. How am I gonna exit now? Imagine he just starts shitting. I'm broken. Save the cases as an investment. Yes. Can I open the door? No, I can't. Wait, what? What am I supposed to do then? Oh, I have no idea what to do now. Where did curiosity go? I need help. I need help again. I need to stream 3 times with 3 savage first. I dropped follow. Maxi streams too, yes. Follow each other, follow everyone. Let's go. Oh, that broke. I was doing it correctly. Let's go. What now though? Get up. I need to open the chat on my phone because I can't read anything over there. I'm not gonna lie, the music is actually dampening the game effect. I'll lurk because mostly my PC is on because of work. I had 12 plus average viewers today for the first time. Yeah, you did. I need to see. Okay, case simulator. Oh yeah, Bunny, you're also trying to get affiliate, right? Same here. Good job, good job. I got 12 plus average views and 8 plus average chatters for the first time in my streaming career. It's my first time getting +1 point for the 3 viewers 4-day things for affiliate. Aye. Good job, good job, good job. Yeah. He had a good stream today. I enjoyed it. I was watching the Minecraft one. I need good help. Aye. Bro, that guy actually scares me. Today I was actually happy. I never had such a good stream and I even cried today. I think I'm supposed to go here. Why did I get the chef's achievement if I was gonna meet chefs again? Oh my god, there's more. There's more. Run. Run, little guy, run. Ah, there's so many. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's like a tsunami. It's a tsunami. And I got done by them. I'm play some CS2 rounds after that. Oh, I'm over here. Oh, wait. I see something. Oh, after a while, right? Okay. Run. Now that I know what I need to do, I'll just run. Run, my guy, run. Oh, no. Come on, run. Oh, shit. No. No. They got me. Ads rolling now. Fuck. I almost made it. Come on. Shit. No. No. Ads has ended. Welcome back, Ghost Viking. Okay, this is difficult. Come on. Come on, who's texting me on Steam? No! No, I missed the jump. Fuck. No. Mr. Jump, Mr. Fuck you. Clip it for me. Thank you. Oh, let's go. I made it. Oh, I need food now. That was close, yes. Those are always close, the runs. I think none of the runs I had for this one was like easy one. Everything was a close call. Oi, 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 give me the food. Wait, what? I ate the gnome? What? Bro, he was giving us food. He was giving us food. We ate the gnome. It is a noble. It is a noble. I have to leave in a few minutes so I can get the work in time. It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate you being here, man. Little fox among hungry wolves. I think that was another level done. I might be dead for that day. I'm saying I might be dead for the day. I meant I might be done for the day as well. I'm kind of tired. Gaming all day during the day and then playing this during the night. It is kind of tiring. I just got cursed at because I hit a clip. Typical siesta. Oh. She might be a seamstress. Oh shit, she's a magician. I give up. I give up. I don't want to do this right now. I'm already quite scared. The last two things got quite a lot out of me. Damn, that was tiring, man. Wait, did you invite me for CS2? Maxi? People, what did she send me? Invited me to watch their broadcast of YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio. What? Oh, CS2? Nah, man. I think I'm done for the day. I'm actually kind of tired. Let's see. Who's live right now? What? Give me a sec, give me a sec. Let me raid. Yeah. No, I think I'm done with the stream as well, man. Ah, we did 2.5 chapters of Little Nightmares in less than 2 hours. Almost 2 hours. I'm down for some chats, but I'm done with the game. Enough raging for today and falling. I didn't rage today, that's the thing. I was scared, man. I didn't think I raged. Was I raging? I was more like scared of being caught. I think. You know? What do you think? I agree on the falling part. Falling part, I do agree. I will be clipping the what's it called? The last one, the one I missed. The one jump I missed, the last lantern jump. I will be clipping that. Literally called me jump misser. Do that. Bro literally called me jump misser. Ah. It was fun, man. It was fun. Okay, who's live right now that we can raid? Someone we want to watch. Saying my truth? Fuck you. I don't like that truth. Jump it. Oh my god. Ah. Wait, Love is live? Love is live again? Ghost Viking? Is Love live again? She is. She is. Or has she been live for the whole? Oh wait, she has been live the whole time. I thought she just went live. Ah. Hmm. They're playing Repo. Yes, she is. They're playing Repo. I hate the game. I hate that game. Love it like I did today. Jump scare. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I don't wanna, man. I don't wanna. I don't wanna get jump scared. By the way, I can't play Repo anymore. Why? What happened? Why can't you play Repo anymore? Because my friend removed from Steam family. Oh, you happy? Hmm. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You can add him again. Search and filter. Let's see. Category. No, wait. That's a category. No, I want the tag to be India. uh, let's find someone new. Wait, who's Maxi? Stop. Give me a sec. Hmm. Forza, we don't want to watch because we want to experience it ourselves. Hmm. Is anyone playing anything good? Let's do VTuber. Thank God he knows that now. Yeah, I do. Bish Blash. I'm Japanese anime. Do you guys want to watch Genshin? I found a new VTuber. Let me check their streams for a sec. I'll. Genshin is kind of old. Let's do NDE. I don't think that gacha is for me. That's what I think. Do you think I can do gacha? Never needs to Evanis. I know what NDE is. Yeah, gacha. NDE is gacha, no? It is a gacha game, I think. No? What do you think? Well, you can just end stream without trade. That works too. No, it's not. It is a gacha game. What do you mean? It is a gacha game. No. We'll raid someone. I'll find someone to raid. Give me like 2 minutes, okay? It's RPG open world. Is it? The main thing is my mouse is not working properly. I can't even scroll down properly. Meanwhile, I'll put up the raid message. Yeah. Thank you. What do we want to watch? What is this? I'm like, less than a week to go. Nostalgic select, yeah. What are they playing? That's what I want to know. Serious crimes on music? Hey, I don't want to watch music. Repo or Valo? You guys choose. Gotta use the old peak one. You guys choose. Valo or Repo? Valo? Okay, we're going for Poki then. Okay, I'm gonna start raid. Really appreciate you guys for joining. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next few chapters. Okay? Till then, take care. Good night. Bye bye. And stay safe. Okay? Bye bye. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Take care. Good night, everyone. Good night.